Hey, Yetis, this is Nick and Jack from the Best One Yet podcast. Now, the last company we worked at, they used Paylocity and everything just worked. It wasn't until launching our own media business, this show, that we realized how rare that is.
Because Paylocity is one delicious burrito of operational needs. They roll up HR, finance, and IT seamlessly into one delicious bite.
When everything wraps together like that all at once, your workforce, your tech stack, your business, you don't need more tools. You don't even need cilantro.
You need one solution.
And that is why Paylocity built a single platform to connect HR, finance, and IT with AI-driven insights and automated workflows that simplify the complex and power what's next.
Or as we call it, a delicious operational burrito.
Yes, we do. Experience a one place for all your HCM needs, besties.
So start now at Paylocity.com/one.
Paylocity.com/ONE.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech Magic, the podcast where we talk about technology, innovation, AI, spatial computing, space, and everything in between. I'm your host, Cathy Hackl, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Lee Kebler. Lee, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I am great. I am doing wonderfully great back at home.
Yes. Remember last week we had that conversation of if you were actually going to be home as long. I might lose a bet here. This might not go in my favor for the first time.
I'm flying out to New York on Thursday, but
See, I told you. I knew it. I knew you couldn't make it as long as you said. No.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
But I'm good. So lots to cover today. Want to start with some of these viral trends that we're seeing with AI. We talked about Studio Ghibli. And by the way, Japan is talking about making them illegal, which is really interesting. Which,
I mean, if you think about like the companies that you know from Japan, like the companies that we know in the Western market from Japan, Nintendo, Sony, these are content IP creators. Studio Ghibli, which is a very small studio, but is impactful, right? There's a lot of technology that comes out of Japan, and there's a lot of intellectual property that comes out of Japan. And those two things are at the forefront of being threatened right now. So I'm not surprised to see this because it is a big part of what Japan does incredibly well for the Western market, right? It'll be, I mean, even Nintendo has been pretty open to saying, like, if AI is utilized, it will not be of any extreme fashion. And I believe them. I really do.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Japan in mid-May for the World Fair, Osaka Kansai. I've been invited by the Japanese government to be a part of their one of their weeks that they're doing. Now we talk about communities and interconnected cities and things like that. So I will definitely be reporting back on what I'm seeing on the ground there. But I do want to talk a little bit about some of the viral trends. So Studio Ghibli, of course, we've talked about that. I did one this weekend that I saw some of my friends do, and I think you should do, which was turn your dog into a human, kind of ChatGPT trend challenge.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
It was freaky, and I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. I sent it to one of my besties, and she was like, absolutely not. I do not want to see what Biscuit looks like as a human. I was like, I absolutely want to see what Arthur could look like as a human. So I had this picture of him. I was holding this chocolate bar, and the dog was standing right in front of me, like looking at the chocolate bar and at me with this like little face. And of course, I'm not going to feed him chocolate because it's toxic, but it was the cutest thing. So I uploaded that, and I asked for, ChatGPT to turn him into a human. And what it spit back was so uncanny in a great way. He looked like the kindest redhead bearded man ever. Sweetest thing in the world. And I showed it to my little one, and then my little one looks at it. She's like, "Mom, doesn't that look like basically they know it's a joke in my family that I find redhead bearded men very, very handsome."
Ah.
No, but I've never said that to ChatGPT. I've never mentioned this to any AI. So then the fact that my dog, who is in love with me, like literally this dog is obsessed with me because I'm his person, shows up to be a redheaded bearded man looking at me like with the most loving eyes. Oh, it was so funny. My little one's the one that pointed it out. It's like, it makes total sense that that's Arthur in human form. So I was laughing. I was like, okay, pretty scary. But I think you should try it with Beanie. I don't know if you should. I don't know. Would you do it?
Look, okay, here's the thing. I'm fine with the pet one. I think that's cute and adorable. No big deal. I'm fine with that. The trend that has me with the most sincere, like, angry heebie-jeebies of technology is the trend where people are turning themselves into an action figure.
Oh, yes. I didn't do that one. I'm going to be honest. I didn't do that one. I did the dog one.
This bothers me on a level that I didn't know a trend could bother me.
Really? Why?
Yes.
Well, even why? What's the beef here? Like,
it's not a beef. It is this. Okay, let's see if we can complete this sentence. If it's free, you're the.
Mm-hmm. You're the product. You're the
product, right?
You're training AI on your stuff,
right? Now, not only do we know this. This is common sense.
I fed a picture of my dog, and now it knows what
Right. Now, here's where this really gets to me. We all love to expound on how much we're wanting our privacy and data is important, things like that. And I'm not just saying you and me. I'm just saying globally. Everyone kind of
so important.
Yeah, everyone says this. And then they go and do this trend where if you look at the output, it is actually productizing you into an action figure with all of your general interests into a single photo, a single data set of if I were to take this particular human's input and productize them in the actual literal form. Whoa. That's the output.
You literally are the product. You literally are the product here.
You are training ChatGPT. You're training an AI to see you
as a product,
as a packaged, blister-packed product. What are we doing here?
Oh my gosh. You are so right. I didn't even think about it that way. You know what I kept thinking of? Every Halloween, there's these memes of costume, but it's like a generic little thing.
When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It can turn you into a little action figure. But what really got me was all of the little accessories,
the little things that it comes with. Yeah,
it's the accessories that are the devil's in the details. And I'm telling you, it is those accessories that made me go, oh my God, we just productized a whole lot of people. Because at the end of the day, that's all this is a data set being reimagined into a graphical chart. What are we doing, people? Stop it.
That's interesting. I mean, from a psychographic standpoint, that is really interesting.
Yes. You've got gender, demographic, age, and general interests packaged into a toy format that we're now sharing with everybody. As if to say, we are this piece of digitized plastic. The song suggestion for today will at the end of the it won't be, but I'm just I can't think of any other song than Barbie Girl. No, Barbie Girl by Aqua.
Barbie Girl.
That's all.
Life in plastic. Yeah.
Oh, I know I sound like just a cranky old man right now, and you're not supposed to rule number 1 of podcasts is don't attack your listeners. But if you've done this, what are you doing? Stop it.
You don't let us have fun, Lee. Oh my gosh. You have to ruin everything.
I feel like I do.
Oh my goodness. Well, to that point, this is a great way to talk about our first story. As if this was not enough. You sent me this. And every time I upload one of these photos onto ChatGPT for X, Y, or Z, I'm like, I'm thinking about stuff. I'm like, okay, is location off? You sent this, and it sent chills down my spine. I shared it in my WhatsApp group because I run this WhatsApp channel, right? Tell folks what the article said, because
I've got 2 articles. I'm not entirely sure which one you're talking about here. I kind
of the photos that they can. Well, okay, you do both. Let's see.
Okay, so the first one is about the photos, right?
Yeah.
So you can basically, from my understanding, and there's some real privacy concerns here, but with ChatGPT Plus specifically, you can run a really advanced model that can determine a photo's location. This isn't like pulling your geodata from your cell phone or something like that. That would be honestly too easy. Like, we know that your phones can do this. Your app's running your geolocation. It has to ask permission. And this is where it gets creepy. Like, have you ever opened up an app on your phone and it says, do you want to give it permission to know your general location or your geolocation?
Track me while using the app or something.
Right.
Or
there's certain apps that need that. Google Maps is a really good example. Like, you have to allow that permission and it asks for it.
The dating apps too, but yes.
The dating apps too, for the proximity. But that also makes sense, right? Like, you want to make sure that whoever you're communicating with, especially in like a dating app, is within like a, 10-mile radius or whatever. But no, ChatGPT is able to identify a location with striking accuracy just by looking at a photo. Even if you strip the metadata and it tells you nothing.
Even if I have location off, right? Because that's one of the things I try to do.
Yeah. Because it's not basing it off of any other data than what is being presented in the photo. So that tells you the breadth of comparability to a data set somewhere out there, that it can take a photo, analyze the photo itself, and tell you where this photo was located. Now,
what if I'm inside my house?
Great question.
I mean, because I get it. If it's outside, it's going to pull from all the stuff out there. I mean, right? Zillow or like Google Maps or like what have you, right?
Perhaps, but it could also look at like weather trends. It could look at like the sun's position. There's a lot of stuff that you could potentially look at, just as the foliage around you, what is native to a particular area, right? Like,
or like zoom into maybe the license plate of a car.
Or a license plate of a car, whatever is like generally around. Like, there is a part of me that very much wants to take this out into the woods in like Mount Hood and here in Oregon or something like that, and see if it can get close with no general context. Like, I'm not going to put a photo of Mount Hood up. Like, obviously it would be able to tell me, right?
No random, being in front of a random bush or something.
Right. But, there is this question of, if I did take a picture of Mount Hood, I'm not on Mount Hood, right? So like, okay, you can recognize a photo of Mount Hood, but can you recognize the face of Mount Hood, the directional face of Mount Hood to which I took that photo, and approximately how far away I must have been to get that photo and whatever else is in there, until like, oh, I'm at, because the base of Mount Hood's like a lot of farms, I'm at this particular like farm or something like that. There are some experiments that I'm keen to try on this, but I'm also terrified of the answer. I don't want it to be right.
You don't want to know. What if I'm inside my house?
I don't know.
But if I'm outside, I mean, I could see how outside it could be, but inside my house, if it's a place like I don't take photos in, like,
I'm guessing it wouldn't be able to geotag your house. Now, could it look outside your window if the window is, in the photo, and glean something off of that? I don't know. But it does lead to a bunch of questions, right? It goes back to the photos that everyone turned into Studio Ghibli, right? A lot of those were just like a couple photos that were taken outside or things like that. Okay, so not only do you, right, so what other, this feels, look, I don't like how I'm approaching this conversation because it feels very tinfoil hat. I get it. I 100% understand. I sound like a crazy person who's like, ChatGPT's put it in your fillings and you're going to get radio it. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's a logical approach to the data that you give any system. And I thought we learned this from Twitter and Facebook and MySpace. Like, I thought we were the generation
never learned anything.
who learned this lesson. But perhaps there's data we're not thinking that we're handing over that we don't realize we're handing over. And it's just such a deeper level of data analytics that humanity, by and large, is not used to. Anyone who like turned their photo into an action figure, I'm not actually sitting here chastising you for doing something foolish. It took me a lot of thinking and a lot of just like pondering and looking at people's photos until it finally clicked.
It clicked. But something made you think about that. Something was felt off.
Something felt
icky or something. I don't know.
It was, you know what it was?
What was it?
This is what it was. I actually know the moment that I'd have to go back and look at the post that tricked me into like, oh, this is why I hate this. One, all of them have the same art style. So there is some type of like data set where they all look like they're in the same packaging.
Collection.
Same collection, right? And so that in and of itself, I thought was strange that like there was a consistency no matter who put this out. Like, oh, this is definitely pulling off of a very specific model. That made it, to me, that made it feel forced by a company. Okay, marketing campaign or whatever. I don't know if that's true, but that's how it felt. Someone on LinkedIn, as I'm just scrolling LinkedIn the other day, posted a photo, and it was an actual photograph of them making the action figure output, but in real life. So they like posted a camera up like on a ceiling, they laid on a floor, they made the whole backdrop. So it's actually them. It wasn't generated. It was what it would look like if you were to actually make this with the stuff around your house. And that's when it clicked for me because it became so much more personal when I saw the actual photo of the human as an art project, right? Basically saying, this is what we're doing. Now,
performance art. It was more performance art.
It was a performance art. And I don't think that it was the artist's intention to call out the productization argument. It was just what I saw. It was how it was interpreted. There was you could kind of tell it was probably maybe even made for clicks.
Yeah. Just for fun. It was probably
just for fun. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's a funny.
Not an argument about the productizing of humans.
A twist on the trend, right? Yeah. But it was seeing the actual photo of a human doing that made me go, oh, this is product packaging. This is actually product packaging. I forgot that what I'm looking at is product pack. And that's when this clicked. And as we start looking at the privacy concerns of like data location based on the images that you're putting up, I use ChatGPT probably every day, every other day for something. I've never hidden away from that, but I've never uploaded a photo because let's talk about the dog photo. Ever. I've never uploaded a photo. ever.
Wow. Okay.
Ever.
I tried not to, but I couldn't. I had to do the dog.
But what else was in the dog photo?
My carpet, a chocolate I bought, and the dog.
Okay, so you're probably fine.
I cropped it.
You're probably fine.
The only thing it could infer from that picture is that I need to call a Stanley steamer. Like, that's the only thing you could think of.
Unless you took that photo on your phone and it has the geotag data in the metadata, which was not stripped, I'm guessing, and you uploaded it anyways. So if it goes to that JPEG or PNG and it looks at the metadata, you don't actually know what it might have gotten from that.
That's a good point.
Not trying to freak you out.
I'm going to get a call from Stanley Steamer tomorrow, apparently, but yeah.
If you start getting Stanley Steamer ads, you're going to know I'm onto something.
You're onto something. I'm like, oh gosh. Not that the carpet's that bad, but I have a dog, so.
Now, the second article, and I'm way more interested in this. This is, okay, let's lighten it up a little bit here. I would say it was a couple months ago, but I know we've talked about this for years. And this was actually, of all places, it was a Rolling Stones article that I thought was really something interesting. You had sent me something. I called you out. We're gonna get into the nitty-gritty here. I don't even remember what it was. You were doing something or another. You sent me something. You said, hey, can you look over this? And I looked over and I go, yeah, I like it, but
what?
I can tell you that ChatGPT wrote this. And then you kind of were like, what?
So, how do you know? I said, how do you not use ChatGPT to help me write this? Not only to write it, but help me write it.
Right. But I could tell the output at some point, not all points. I could actually go through and highlight of like, oh, this was ChatGPT output. Okay. And you asked, you're like, how in the world?
How in the world do you know that? Yeah. I was like completely shocked.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm super sleuthing, but I'm not. So there's a writing style that is throughout ChatGPT's output called the EM dash. And it is used, typically whenever I wrote something and then you wanted to say an offshoot, I would always put it in parentheses. I don't know where I learned that, but it would be something to the effect of, and then I was driving down the road, parentheses. This was not a road that I was familiar with, but I was going down it anyways, in parentheses, until I got to the stoplight, right? Whatever. Okay. But that sentence, if output by ChatGPT, would not have parentheses. It would use something called an EM dash. Yes. An EM dash it's like a hyphen, but longer.
Yeah.
And most people, myself included, actually don't know how to generate the EM dash on a keyboard. It's not on the keyboard. You have a hyphen, but you don't have an EM dash.
Boy, I've never tried.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. So this M dash is throughout ChatGPT's output, and people started catching on. I caught on to it pretty quickly because I was utilizing it to like spitball ideas for other projects I was having, and I noticed like this M dash kept popping up everywhere. My mom was a 12th grade English teacher. She was very into like MLS style writing and all of this stuff. So I kind of knew what this was, but I also knew I didn't use it. So it didn't feel like me in any of my writing. And I caught on to that trend really quickly. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I actually don't know how to generate this on my keyboard. It's like a Alt command or something. And this has been catching on. Other people have noticed this specific thing has been catching on. So it ends up in a lot of people's content that you can go, oh, you didn't actually write this. Even friends of mine who work in marketing departments who end up with like a coworker who's putting out like way too much content at once. I can let me look at it, and I can look at it and be like, yeah, this is ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT.
Then what did Gen Z call the ChatGPT dash, or what is it that they call it?
I call it the M dash. That's the actual technical term.
But like there was a whole thing about how the younger generation calls it the AI dash or the ChatGPT.
The AI dash. It's very prevalent now. I would never call something out without giving you a solution. There is a solution.
Just ask it not to use the M dash.
That doesn't work.
Okay.
It gets really into it. Like you can ask it not to, and it might do it for a little while, but it still will hallucinate. It loves this thing. I don't know where it got.
To make a comeback, or I don't even know what to call it, but okay.
Part of me thinks it might be on purpose to be able to differentiate like AI tech. Like this goes back into get that tinfoil hat back out that we just put away and put it on, because there's no real logical reason, because people don't write this way. It's not something that you see often. You're seeing it more often because less people are writing and more people are ChatGPTing their content. If you want to get rid of the M dash, if you want to make sure that this is not used in your content quickly, or other things that might nod to AI writing something for you. If you are an Apple user, this goes back to my weird love-hate relationship with Apple. If you're an Apple user and you take that output and you put it into Notepad or whatever your text editor is, and you use Apple Intelligence's proofread, it will remove all of it.
Bum, bum, bum.
So
goodbye, M dash. It was nice knowing you.
Not just that, but like I've noticed other little things that it will tweak in its proofreading session that will be like, oh, this actually reads like something that a person would write now. It does take a moment to, it's one extra step, but it clarifies so much content.
That's really interesting, because what I do, I've got this whole workflow, right? Let's say I wake up and I have an idea, or I'm walking the dog or whatever, and I have an idea for an article or a LinkedIn post, for example, or an Instagram post. And then I'll talk into my otter and I'll be like, whatever, right? And then I spit that out. I load into ChatGPT and say, take this out, because it's my ideas in my concepts, right?
Yeah.
Take this and format it in for an Instagram post. And then it'll spit something out using my ideas and my content, but taking it from there and obviously using AI. But yeah, there's always the M dashes, or there's like a whole bunch of like emojis, or like there's a certain format that it always spits out.
Yeah.
So I find that interesting, but I do use it that way. Like I will have this like whole thing set up where it just works for me.
I do the exact same thing. I think like actually social media posts and things like that, when you're trying to like get verbal ideas out into something that's contextual, and it is your content at the end of the day, that works. It is that highlight of, it's as if ChatGPT does have a very distinctive voice in its writing. And it's just kind of breaking away from that so that your voice kind of finds its way back. I think that that's one of those things that will happen in time. But as of right now, ChatGPT doesn't have a firm grasp on the user's voice. You can actually ask it to write something in the voice of somebody who's super well known.
Yes.
Right? Write me a short, scary story in the voice of Stephen King. It can do it. It can do it really well. Right? Write me
on all those books, but yes.
It did. But that's it. I mean, like
corpus, yes.
Stephen King's written more books than any other modern day author I think that I can think of. I've got a list of them behind me right here, and yeah, it's read all of them. So it can do that very well. Or write me a song in the style of fill in your favorite artist. It can do that. But if you try to get it to mimic your voice, it doesn't have enough, even with all the content you've given it, it doesn't have enough to understand you as a persona. So
it understands me because I've loaded it. I've created my own GPTs, right? I've loaded my
yes,
content,
but you're an author.
my library articles, blah, 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 blah. Like, so I created my own GPT, right? Where it has my tone, right?
I agree that,
one,
but I believe you are an outlier, right? As someone who has been out in the public eye, you've had a number of books published, all of which have been scraped at some point, whether you know it or not. Like,
I didn't use them though. I didn't put my books because I believe that is still copyright, but I'm sure it has trained on my books and for a fact.
Oh yeah, that's the thing is, right? Like you
without
don't have
my
to
consent, but
it already got it. So it's already there.
I just didn't feel right uploading any PDFs about it. I was like, no.
I wouldn't either.
Copyrighted material, even though it's already trained on it, but whatevs.
yeah. And I've found it to be helpful with things like manuals and things like that I have to go through really quickly. But, which is copywritten material, right? Like that's a big old question mark of like, can a person upload a manual to get to the bottom of something faster? I don't actually know.
We don't know yet. So to that, I've got two questions for you. Okay. First one, do you say thank you and please to ChatGPT?
Oh, No, but I have cursed out ChatGPT that have probably cost millions.
Okay.
I argue.
I hear the news is that the Sam Altman is saying thank you and please to ChatGPT is costing them a lot in compute. So that we don't need to do that. I think we all do it because we're good people. Or at least for me, it's like
I don't know what that says about me.
My kids forced me to do it. They were like, you got to be nice to Alexa. So hence I'm nice to ChatGPT and Claude and whichever other AI I'm in contact with. But yeah, apparently we are wasting precious compute power saying thank you and please.
I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a part of me that's like, then
good.
No, I don't mean that. I'm a very like, I want to see energy efficiency go throughout, but like, this feels like a you problem, Sam. Like, figure out how.
It's your problem, not mine, for saying thank you and please. I'm trying to save my life here from the Terminators, okay?
just set up a filter that doesn't look at those words. How inefficient is your program, Sam? Like, come on.
And then the other one. Okay. So the Academy Awards are around the corner. Okay. Do you think AI should be allowed in movies that might get nominated in the future?
I don't think we have a choice.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't think we've got a choice here at all. I do think, I said this jokingly, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, right around when Sora was first announced.
Yeah.
And Tyler Perry said he was going to like close down a part of his studio because of AI. And I was like, what type of nonsense is this?
Yeah.
I was sitting with Adam Davis. We were in Hollywood. We were driving down the street to go to a meeting.
Let me just stop you there. We were in Hollywood. Okay.
Well, that's where he lives.
I know. It's just hilarious. We're just hanging out in Hollywood because that's like as normal people do. But okay.
That's where he lives. So yes, it is. And we were driving to some meeting or another, and we were joking about how ridiculous this was. And that one day that there's going to be, we really loved the Waiting for Guffman movies, Best in Show, those type of like mockumentary Spinal Tap movies from when we were kids. And it's like one day there needs to be one of those called Free Range Actors, which is just about actors who are setting out to make organic film for media and for people to enjoy their art, and it will have its own category and it will have its own award.
Oh my gosh.
And now I think we're getting closer to reality.
Well, let me tell you. So the Academy has put out the following rules. It says, with regards to generative AI and other digital tools used in making of the film, the tools neither help nor harm the chances of achieving a nomination. The Academy and each branch will judge the achievement, taking into account the degree to which a human was at the heart of the creative authorship when choosing which movie to award. So that's what they've said. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some stinker of movies come out this year, so like AI can't do worse. Like, what did Snow White do? It like did a fraction of what they invested into that. It's just like we're already recycling old material and old IP, and we just keep doing it. So I guess.
Well, Minecraft killed it, though. I have to tell you, I enjoyed being at the movie theater with my kids watching that. And Sinners just crushed it in the movie theater as well.
I will be going to see Sinners. I think this week
too.
we're gonna get tickets for that. That looks that'll be one of those few times where I go to the movie theater.
You're not going to see Minecraft?
No.
Chicken Jockey? No?
I do not have children. Why would I subject myself to the chaos that I have seen online?
It was so fun.
No, I will maybe watch it when it's streaming. I was so uninterested in this film.
You're more uninterested now after seeing all the popcorn and craziness. I will tell you, I haven't had that much fun at the movie theater in ages. Our theater was pretty tame. There wasn't anyone throwing drinks or anything.
Sure.
But it was people clapping. It was just
Was it good? Genuinely, let's be real.
The movie?
Yes.
I was there for my son and his friends.
The kids, it was for the kids, right? They nailed the movie for the kids.
My son, 13-year-old, another 13-year-old boys, all watching it with me. I enjoyed myself because the energy, it felt like going to the movies in the olden days when people had a shared experience. It felt like a shared experience that I haven't felt in the movie theater maybe since Barbie, which isn't that long ago. But
no, that's real.
It felt so nice. Jaws, when people used to go to the movies and they saw Jaws or something, and it was it was this thing. I felt that shared experience with this group of kids. I mean, sometimes I didn't know why we're clapping, but I'm like, okay, I didn't do the clapping on Chicken Jockey because I was prepared for that. But other stuff, I was like, okay, I guess we're munching on loaf or whatever. He says some every line is a meme, and then I'm like, okay, I'm clapping.
So they just knew what they were. They went in for what they knew what they signed up for when
they knew exactly what they signed up for. So
when you compare it to Mario Brothers movie, the Mario movie.
Oh, this was the movie-wise, Mario was better.
Okay.
Experience watching Minecraft was amazing.
Wow, that says a lot.
People were and you know why? Because I felt it was Gen Z kids and Gen Alpha kids coming together in something they both grew up doing, or some are still growing up doing. That, especially for some of these kids, Minecraft is huge. For them, was a big part of the pandemic. Right? So I don't know.
True. That's true. There was a
different. It felt different than Mario.
For a lot of people, I think we look at the pandemic and go, wow, that was a crazy couple of years. But for a lot of the older youth today, that was their entire childhood. 2 years is much longer to a child than it is to an adult, and I quickly forget that quite often, how big of an impact that would have been 2 years with Minecraft being a social outlet. Yeah, that's sticking with you.
Yeah. So definitely, it felt special. So before we go on break, I do want to mention you and I are in parallel watching the latest season of Black Mirror.
I only watched the first episode. Woof.
What? That's it? You didn't continue?
I will continue, but I've got to do this in small doses.
Yeah, it's okay. I get it. There's too much dystopia going on in the real world.
Yeah. It's a lot of watching it and living it. Okay, you want to know? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not going to give away any part of the plot of the first episode, but the first episode is dark. It is very dark. And yet, I end the first episode going, that was a really dark story for that couple. But for the betterment of humanity, that gave a pretty nice outlook to, there was public school with a lot of technology. There were things people.
Glass half full? What?
I know. All of a sudden, I'm not the wet blanket here. I'm watching this, and that was really
construction workers in this future world.
Yeah, there are people who had jobs. The internet worked and seemed to work freely. There was a lot to this that I was just if we, okay, maybe we'll be all right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, okay. So I'm 4 episodes in. Okay, 4 episodes in. And this is the sad part. I'm watching Black Mirror in parallel with Handmaid's Tale. I'm like, how would this
You can't do that to yourself.
That's too much. But
it's too much.
I'm okay.
You know what I'm watching?
What?
This is how you do it. I'm watching Black Mirror and Golden Girls reruns.
Oh, there you go. That's a nice little balance.
See? That's how you do it.
That's a nice little balance. I like that. But yeah, I would say first episode was good. Second episode, Bête Noire. If you're interested, I don't know how to explain this. If you're watching that second episode, you and I might watch a different episode. Let me just put it there. I think people need to watch. That second episode is a must watch. It's a must watch for everyone from a future technology standpoint.
I will be back next week.
Yes, and we will discuss this. And then third episode's Hotel Reverie. That one, when it comes to movies and AI, I think you are going to enjoy it. I think you and ADM are going to enjoy this movie vision. So, and I'm in number 4, which is a gaming one, and I haven't finished it. But yeah, a big, big thing. So let's go on break. And then when we get back, we're going to talk robots. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. And we're also going to have an interview with my friend Tom Emrich, the author of The Next Dimension. So let's go on break.
This message is brought to you by Warner Brothers Discovery Advertising. And this is more than an ad. This is an invitation to be part of the stories the world can't stop watching, to connect with moments that dominate the conversation, to participate in culture, not just advertise around it. With the most sought-after IP, passionate audiences, and an advanced AI-powered foundation, WBD Advertising transforms attention into influence and impressions into outcomes. This is innovation. This is impact. This is opportunity. This is Warner Brothers Discovery Advertising. Visit advertising.wbd.com to learn more.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Business is booming. But you know what really helped? Xero, the accounting platform for small businesses. I used to think spreadsheets were just part of it. Ugh. But real-time cash flow? Wow. Invoices that chase themselves? Even better. Books that automate? That's a big one. And I can keep track from my phone while I get the job done. No spreadsheet in sight. What a life. Do right by yourself and your business and search Xero for your free trial. Conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Jake Grez, also known as Nurse Jake. As a travel nurse, I've worked in all kinds of places, different settings, cities, and climates. Every assignment brings on a new challenge, which is why I always bring my figs. These scrubs are built for whatever the job throws at you. They're breathable, flexible, and comfortable in any environment. No matter where I land, I know they're going to keep me looking and feeling my best. And don't sleep on the details. The pockets, the features, the finishing touches, everything has a purpose, and it makes a real difference when you're moving nonstop. The fit is clean, tailored, and super polished, and they come in a huge range of colors. In other words, they feel great throughout a 12-hour shift, and they always look good. See every healthcare professional on Instagram. If you work in healthcare or know someone who does, check out Figs and get 15% off your first order at wearfigs.com with code FIGSRX. That's wearfigs.com, code FIGSRX.
All right. So my guest today is actually my dear friend from the XR industry, Tom Emrich. Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Cathy. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be chatting to you.
Amazing. So Tom, just give folks a little bit of background on who you are in this industry. You've been in this industry longer than I have, by the way. So you're we're both OGs, but you're like one of the original OGs. So give folks a little bit of background on what you've been doing in the immersive and in the technology industry, in general.
Thanks. Well, I've been in the spatial computing space for now over 15 years. And actually, I started as a product manager at a publishing company. And this was at the time when the iPad was coming on the scene. And all of the publishers thought that paper was going away overnight. And so there was a little bit of a freak out that newspapers and magazines were not what they were going to be. And of course, they did change, but they're still around. And the remit for my product strategy was, how do we reinforce the need for paper, essentially? How do we reinforce the need for a physical magazine or newspaper? And at the time, webcam-enabled augmented reality was a reality. And so I started to dabble a little bit with bringing in augmented reality for advertisers within the early 2000s. And so that really caught my attention. And I definitely knew then that was the future. And since then, I've been very passionate about augmented reality and virtual reality. And I've worn a number of different hats. I've been an investor. I've been a community builder. I've been a tech journalist for a while, but always focusing on AR and VR, and specifically how AR and VR change who we are as people. So really coming at it from not so much the tech perspective, but the value perspective. And then I would say the last 6.5 years or so, I've been working on the product side for developer ecosystems. I've helped establish and grow web-based augmented reality developer ecosystems, working at Eighth Wall, then Niantic, as well as, game engine enabled application development tools, both at Niantic and then in other big tech companies. And so it's been a wild ride, and it's been great being there with you, seeing the technology change and evolve and grow. And every day it becomes more and more powerful, which is super exciting.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And you actually just got back from Boston. You were in Boston for Harvard XR, and you were there talking about what's happening in the XR industry, but also talk about your new book. So tell folks about your new book. I mean, tell us about Harvard XR, but also about the new book, because it's really exciting. I mean, I know you've been in the process of writing this book for a while. So when I saw it actually come to life physically, I was so thrilled for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Harvard XR was amazing. I believe this is their 3rd or 4th year. And it really brought together a great group of, tech giants, researchers, thought leaders, as well as students, which is, really good mix between those that have been in this space for a long time and those that are really eager to get involved in this space. And pretty much will be the ones that carry the torch and allow for us to enter this era of spatial computing. The conversations, they went anywhere from going deep into AI and how generative AI is transforming how to create XR content through to the state of XR and where we're at with hardware, and really trying to send the message that there's not one single device to put your attention to right now, but rather different devices per different demographic. And then I ended the event really talking about how the spatial computing era is going to change us as humans, how it's going to change us as consumers and us as professionals. And so I thought it was a really well-rounded event, and it was my first time at Harvard. It was pretty amazing to be there as an author. So I do appreciate it. The book journey, writing a book, as you know, because you've written many books, is a journey. But it was really amazing to be able to celebrate a lot of the brands that have been working in this space, as well as use this book as a rally cry to get more brands, more agencies, more marketers aware that the time to get involved with augmented reality is now. And that's really what the book's about. The Next Dimension is all about how to use augmented reality, which is just one technology in the spatial computing umbrella, to further your business growth. And I hope today we can explore really how much is happening in the space and how much success brands are already seeing. And it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, yeah, and you've been championing this for a long time. I mean, the augmented reality side, the conversions, right? I feel like the data, there's so much really powerful data on how AR is helping with conversions, with awareness. I mean, across the board. I almost call it like a full funnel kind of yes. Technology, right?
That's exactly it. And I wanted this book, The Next Dimension, not to be like theory, not me as a talking head. And so I would say half to three quarters of the book is filled with data points, proof points that demonstrate how augmented reality is already moving the needle across the marketing funnel. I think a lot of folks feel as though smartphone AR in particular is there just for awareness. So a lot of top of funnel activity. But as you also mentioned, there are great proof points at bottom of funnel, which is really where the rubber hits the road. Avon, for example, they teamed up with Perfect Corp to enable their website to allow for shoppers to try on over 400 of their makeup and beauty products using augmented reality. And they indicated that they saw an increase of over 320%. I mean, those numbers is
320%. I mean,
about 320% and a 33% increase in average order value.
And I haven't talked about Avon in forever. So you're just maybe I should go check it out. Avon lady's not coming. The Avon lady's not coming to my door. She's coming to my browser. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's an Avon, the agentic Avon AI is going to be there for sure. But this is just one of many examples of, retailers that have already committed to integrating augmented reality. And by the way, we're talking about the augmented reality that uses devices today. That's what's really interesting about AR. It can use your webcam on your computer. As you're seeing with Zoom, when you kind of blur your skin a little bit, you're using augmented reality on a regular basis. your smartphone has quietly become a very powerful augmented reality machine. But the go time that we've all been kind of waiting for are these head-worn wearables. And so it's kind of like a two-part story. You can see a lot of benefit today with today's devices and get ready for what's going to be a complete paradigm shift in your marketing strategy, not too long from now.
And to that point, I want to bring this up because I want to talk about a few things. So I was just at TED, and you're Canadian.
I'm Canadian,
I believe. I was just in Vancouver, and I loved it. I had such a great time. But at TED, they had the live demo of the Google XR glasses. I mean, there was so much XR on that on that stage that day. It was amazing. And you're talking about what comes, what are the potential ways that hardware is going to change, right? And how does that impact marketing? So I want to talk a little bit about that. The hardware, what are the, the different things that you're seeing? And then I want to talk about how that impacts marketing, because one thing that you said that I love it when we were kind of like talking about what we were going to talk about on the podcast, you said the new P in marketing is presence, right? So I want to talk about that, but let's talk about hardware first. Like, what are the different things you're seeing in this evolution? And let's talk about how that impacts marketing.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on with hardware. Under the spatial computing umbrella, there are essentially, I would say, two big buckets of new hardware categories that are emerging. We have physical AI, where hardware is embodying AI, and this is like humanoid robots. I still can't believe that I'm actually saying humanoid robots on a podcast.
They just ran a marathon in China, which is crazy.
I know, this is crazy, but also drones, autonomous vehicles, delivery robots, and then there are immersive interfaces. And these are augmented reality smart glasses, mixed reality headsets that do both VR, virtual reality, and augmented reality, and then other spatial displays that don't require wearables.
Or AirPods with cameras. I mean, yeah.
Exactly. There is a lot happening. But what I would say is the hero of our lives and our digital lives have been our laptops and our smartphones. And I would say more our smartphones, because they're out all the time with us. And what's expected to be the hero in the era of spatial computing are wearable devices, and more particularly head-worn wearables. But that to be said, we should expect to wear a constellation of devices. And the reason for this is because we need the computer to understand more of our movements and to get access to more of our senses in order to be more immersive. And so while we'll talk a lot about head-worn wearables, other wearables that are on other parts of your body will be the future. In the head-worn wearable space, there's two stories going on right now. We have mixed reality headsets, or sometimes they're called spatial computers. And these are like Meta Quest 3 and Apple Vision Pro. And I kind of akin where they're at today as like early PC days. They're very powerful, but they're somewhat clunky. They're affordable, but maybe one per household if you can afford it. And they're not really meant to leave the home. This feels like very much when my dad brought my first handy home. And maybe we're a little bit further along than that, but it reminded me of that. And so mixed reality headsets will continue to get more affordable, more portable, more powerful. They'll be more laptop-like. And so then you'll start to be able to bring them out, with you more often, but they're going to play a major role in especially your work and school. And then we have these connected eyewear, these smart glasses. And these are AI or audio-enabled glasses like Ray-Ban, or video glasses like Roku, X-Real. They remind me of like early feature phone days. They're like portable, but they do like one or two things really well. They're not full computers in your hand, but eventually they will be. They will eventually be. I think the big thing to remember right now is that these devices often rely on your smartphone or other computing hubs. And so the laptop and the smartphone the relationship will change. It will still be in your life, but eventually it'll become just something you keep in your pocket to power until the connectivity is there and the computing power is there for head-worn wearables to replace, the smartphone and laptop completely. So that's, I think, the journey we're on. Everybody wants to know when. And I think, you and I have been in this space so long that you don't look in your crystal ball and you don't give dates no more. It's just, it's going to happen when it's going to happen.
You don't give a date or a time. It's just going to happen. Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially with things accelerating at such a fast pace, you never know, right? What's going to happen next.
Exactly.
So to that point, obviously this is an Adweek podcast. So I definitely want to talk about marketing and advertising and what you're seeing there with this, expansion of computing into the physical world with these new devices and the proof points already that AR can convert, that AR can be a full funnel medium. What are you seeing? Like, what are you seeing from a marketing perspective?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of activity in smartphone AR, and there's no surprise there because whether it's web AR, social AR, using the social media apps or native application AR, there's, 5 billion smartphones plus that are available to be used there. And so if you're really looking to use this technology to not just learn, but also move the needle, the smartphone is where it's at. And we've seen anyone from, Lunchables to McDonald's to Netflix to, Coors Light and Tate, which is a New York fashion company, all join in and again, like really share the data points. Kate in particular, they used WebAR for a shoe lookbook, and they reported that they saw a 4 times lift in sales from the use of WebAR. So again, a lot of really great bottom of funnel conversion points. But what I think is also really interesting is we're starting to see some marketers dip their toes in the mixed reality headset, experiences. When the Vision Pro came on board, we saw a lot of different brands start to use the Vision Pro to experiment with. One of my favorites was NBC Universal's Kung Fu Panda portal experience, where you got to, do Tai Chi with Po, the panda. And it was a really compelling way to bring the world of Kung Fu Panda into your world and be able to do an experience and share a moment with a character that felt like they were in the room with you. And so I think this is just the beginnings of that. And obviously with, headsets, that there are some really good volume of users, especially around the younger users. But as these headsets get more and more adopted, they'll become more viable opportunities for brands, especially those that are looking to like really move the needle across different demographics.
Yeah. So it's interesting because when the Vision Pro dropped, I downloaded the J.Crew app and actually bought a pair of shoes. I don't know how many shoes they sold in Vision Pro because that many people had the Vision Pro, right? But I was one of those people. I was like, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to test how this works when I'm buying a pair of shoes via mixed reality. So that was really interesting. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the things that you talk about in the book. And obviously, I love the idea and the concept of the new P in marketing is presence. Why is it presence?
Right. Well, the main thing is that spatial computing blends the digital with the physical, and it really allows for computing to break through the screen that it has been, stuck behind for many years, that screen being smartphones, laptops, monitors. And it allows for us to have a shared space, a shared reality, a shared dimension. And so, what's really interesting here is that with marketing, we've always thought about the product and the people and the place, but more from like a data perspective, more from a demographic perspective. Which demographic am I going after and which geography am I going after? The new P as presence means that you need to think about the spatial area of the user, and you're moving into considering their face and their body and their space, which is really bringing it down into a much more granular level. And this really causes the marketing experience to be much more personal, therefore much more meaningful. And it turns the consumer into a co-creator because the ingredients that's necessary in mixed reality and augmented reality marketing campaigns is the person, the things around the person, and the space itself. And so it's hyper personalized. And this is what is causing that increase in conversion, is because you already have convinced that user that they're part of the process. And so they feel a sense of agency, they feel a sense of accountability, and they feel like they're part of the overall process. And I think a good example of this was during the Dune Part 2 and kind of Barbie movie time. Warner Brothers, they ran a Snapchat lens that allowed for you to become characters of the movie. So this is a really good example where, yes, most likely the target was Gen Z, but you needed to think about like how that person was going to show up as a character within those experiences. And by showing up as part of those experiences, you as a consumer, you feel like you already have a relationship with that IP. And then the upside is that you share that out, on your social media. And now the marketing campaign has become even more personal to that person's network because they see, me, Cathy sees me as a Dune character and immediately gets their attention because they've connected with me and therefore connected with Dune. So the new P in marketing is presence, about considering the spatial area, that is the people and the objects in the space, as part of your marketing strategy.
Fantastic. Last question before I ask you where folks can connect with you. What do you think brands need to do today or tomorrow? Let's say, what do you need to do today to get started with AR if they still haven't?
Yes. 3 Ps: play, pilot, prove. Those are the 3 things to do. The first is if you yourself and or your team have not been able to use smartphone AR, you all have smartphones. Go and play with it, whether it's on Snapchat or TikTok or a web-based experience, and go out and get a Vision Pro or a Meta Quest and start playing. That's the first thing. I can talk about it, Cathy can talk about it, but it really won't click until you actually use it. And so it's really important for you and your team to have access to the tech and start to play. You're going to find out that there's a lot of brands, maybe some of your competitors that are already there. So hopefully that puts a little bit of energy in your belly to get started. The next is pilot, and that is all about experimentation. This is a brand new paradigm shift, and don't underestimate the move from 2D, which is what you've been working on and in for so long, to 3D. Even though we're 3D creatures living in a 3D world, we have not been working in 3D, a lot of us, for most of our professional careers. So set up experiments, make sure you know how to measure those experiments, and learn and refine. And that will bring you to the last point, which is prove, which will give you the data points to get a business case, because you're going to need to bring this to the rest of your stakeholders within your organization and say, hey, look, we did move the needle, time and time again on conversion. Maybe we need to jump the chasm on innovation and move augmented reality into our staple marketing budget, which is my hope for everybody.
Amazing. So Tom, where can folks find you? Where can they get the book as well? Because it is a fantastic book.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm fully on LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Tom Emrich. Please DM me. And also the book you can find easily at thenextdimensionbook.com.
Amazing. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Happy.
All right. So that was the interview with my friend Tom Emrich, who wrote an amazing book called The Next Dimension. And as you heard there, he talked about presence being the next P in marketing. And he talked about the effectiveness of augmented reality for conversion and for marketing. So many brands have been using AR for such a long time. Didn't your friend Phil, isn't he the one that created the dancing hot dog from a million years ago?
No, not the dance. He did the potato filter.
He did the potato.
Phil Walton, who is a longtime friend of mine. Mm-hmm. He got into making different type of filters for Snapchat, and he created that potato filter a couple of years ago, and it just went so viral that became his thing. And he's quite well known now in the marketing circles for creating Snapchat filters and things like that. It's wild to catch up with him and hear about the crazy brands that he's worked with and made incredible stuff. Yeah, it's really good.
That's amazing. So talking about something other than potato filters, I do want to talk about humanoid robots. A group of humanoid robots just ran a marathon in China. They didn't do that great, but they're out there running.
Surprise, because cheetahs outrun us on purpose.
Right? Once again, you're always talking about that, like the form factor. Is it the right form factor? Not sure.
I'm not wrong about this.
I know you're not. Calm down, Lee, okay? You get a prize too, Lee. You get a prize too.
I don't know why we keep circling. Not you and me, we, but like just robotic companies and just like biped obsession. Yes.
They're obsessed with humanoid robots. But there's some other news from Hyundai. Maybe you can share what the news is.
Yes, and to be fair, it does kind of have a little bit of a humanoid robot feel to it. But Hyundai Motor Group, which many people don't realize, Hyundai bought Boston Dynamics. Boston Dynamics was considered the leader in robotics for a long time. In my opinion, still is. They created the dog that went viral years ago, and they've kind of partnered in with emergency vehicle rescue designs, things like this that are happening in the background that we don't get a lot of news on. But the fact of the matter is Hyundai bought them outright and they own Boston Dynamics. And now they're moving, the Hyundai Motor Group is moving Boston Dynamics robotics into the manufacturing lines. So this is a big push. There's a new Meta plant, America, that's going to be outside of Savannah, Georgia, that they're looking at putting a lot of this into. So we'll see how it changes over the next couple of years. Definitely some of the robots do have a humanoid feel, but I will say this, where they are utilizing them, it is typically in like something that is forward facing, right? Or customer facing. I don't know what the right word here is, because obviously a lot of manufacturing robotics focuses on just like, that's the creation of the robotic arm, right? Where it's just one arm. We've had robots making vehicles for ages, right? And we're going to continue to see a lot of those form factors, which have already been perfected, kind of be staying in their use case. So we'll probably see some more human-esque robots in the future. In the past, I've found a couple. I don't know if you've seen. There's a handful of companies that are making robots for the food industry.
Oh
And so
yeah, yeah. Lots of
I've
them.
had a few interactions with robot cafes.
Yeah. I've had tea poured by yeah.
Now,
I've had a salad made. I've had my pizza delivered. Yeah.
I have a particular issue. I have a very particular issue when the robot asks for a tip.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm sorry. No.
I've
No.
had that happen.
No. Like
Where you go
yeah,
through
no.
the kiosk and it's like, and you.
Is it tip for the person that's stocking the milk in the coffee machine robot? Like, because I don't, like, that's not my job. Like, I hate when that happens. I hate when robots ask me for a tip.
But we will continue to say please and thank you to them,
Please and
right?
thank you. It's a compute power. It's an issue here, okay? Oh, no. Have you heard of the term dark factories?
No, but it sounds like the next episode of
Dark Mirror. No. No, so dark factories or lights out factories are factories that are, for example, they have them a lot in China, where literally it's robots doing all the work. There's no need for lights until the humans roll in to check in on stuff at whatever time, and they turn the lights on for the humans. But then most of the time, the robots are working around the clock. They don't need light.
Isn't this the premise of Five Nights at Freddy's? Like they're robotic? No, I don't know.
No.
I
Those
don't follow what the
animatronics,
kids-
they're robotic in some way, but they're have
robots.
human children trapped in them. So no. Yeah, no, not quite the same thing. I do not want my car being manufactured by a robot that has a child soul trapped in it. But yeah, the concept of dark factories is picking up in China, which is lights out, right? And they only have humans come in every once in a while to check whatever, needs a repair, what have you, but very few humans in the loop. So hence they don't need electricity.
I've always kind of wondered about that. I know I've never actually, well, let me back up. I've seen a couple of videos explaining like Amazon or like large shipping companies where they've got robotics that are doing the pulling and pushing and all of that. And it doesn't really hit a line where a human's at the end of it until it's about to go out the door. So I have in the back of my head always wondered if that was just like happening in the dark, because what's the point of having light if these robots can just pull things off of shelves and things like that? I mean, the fact of the matter is anything with an infrared camera can see in the dark and probably can see better. So I guess that makes sense, but oh my goodness, that leads to just a horror movie in the making.
Man, maybe
that is a great setting for
Sinners. Dark factories.
Such a great setting for a horror
we should pitch that as a movie. Hey, Netflix. So that's happening. I'm trying to think. There's something else, but I can't remember what else I was going to bring up related to that whole thing. Oh, well, this is a bit dystopic, and I was having this conversation earlier today, and I think you and I have had it here on the pod before. We had it last week, was the idea and the concept that there are companies out there. For example, there's this AI startup, I can't remember the name right now, that has come out and said, we want to replace all white-collar workers, every part of the job that is a white job for a white-collar worker. And my thing is, if you come out with that type of statement and you're trying to replace every single worker, don't you eventually replace the CEO that is also going to buy your service or your software? And then at the end of the day, like I always go back to that. If you replace every worker and no one's making a salary and maybe there's no UBI, universal basic income, then who's going to buy your product or service? So in the long run, what happens to the company? I mean, only robots are going to buy like stuff like that. Like it's just like.
Well, we all saw WALL-E, right? We know how this ends.
No, I don't want that. Let's do something better, Lee. Okay, no.
It's not up to me. I warned you, don't make yourself a product.
It's on your shoulders. Please solve this.
No, I mean, you're right? And one of the things that has been speculated heavily is that the C-suite positions, if left to an unfettered AI, would be the first most likely to get replaced, because a lot of those positions are making logical based decisions on market trends, what's happening currently in tradings and things like that. And there is not a system faster. There is not a person faster or better at it than an AI that's been given unfettered access to all of the data to make logical, programmatic decisions. So, logically, and I don't think this is what's happening right now, but logically, the CEO would be the first to get cut because most of what the CEO does could actually be done by a very fine-tuned general AI that can see market trends and make predictive decisions that makes for the best decision for watching the line go up, right? Like that is the dream. Now, if that were to occur, it could fix a lot that's going on right now.
Oh, they're going to be the last ones to go because they're not going to give up their nice salaries, my friend.
Well, now, here's the thing. It's not necessarily up to them, right? Like we have watched CEOs get replaced by a board of directors. And if the board of directors' goal is to watch a line go up and they think a machine can do it better, you can best be sure that they will not hesitate. The CEO position is, for a large company, is one of those jobs that you can pretty much guarantee turns over every 3 to 4 years. I've watched it happen over and over and over again. It's a golden parachute job for sure, but it's also kind of a scapegoat job as well for many companies. It just is kind of what it is. I've worked at a lot of these large companies, and my tenure's been longer than many of the CEOs that I've worked for. And that isn't necessarily even saying that the CEOs did a bad job. Sometimes it's just where the market goes and it does that. So you replace that type of predictive analytics with an AI. Yeah, I could see C-suite members being on the chopping block. I think you would actually see the creative C-suite members last longer. Marketing and design, aspects of smaller companies and things like that would probably fare a little bit better because there's some creative aspect to it.
So I think we have time for one more story, Lee. So I'm going to let you do a Lee's choice here.
Oh, no.
No.
I'm going to
keep maybe 2, but very quick.
All right, 2. The first one I want to talk to because it really does go to the productization of like the data you're giving AI. ChatGPT, they're developing a social network with the implicit goal to compete and rival X, formerly known as Twitter. At some point, we're just going to have the AI wars that I think we all know are coming, and ChatGPT and Grok are going to just go into the digital dome and fight it out. I don't know how this ends. You know what? I do know how it ends. I know how it can end. It ends if we stop using the stuff. Like, that's one way to make it stop, is you stop feeding it data. But yeah, I wasn't expecting that because
I'm not surprised anymore by anything from OpenAI. Like, anytime I hear anything, I'm like, oh, okay.
But don't you think like social media is so 2015? Like it just doesn't.
But they need more data. They need more data. So if they create a social network, they get more data.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone will post and everyone will share and everyone will blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah. So there is that. On a more positive note, I will end on something positive. Everyone was kind of questioning when the Nintendo Switch 2 was actually going to hit the US because of tariffs. It looks like we do have an answer set to launch June 5th, 2025 here in the United States. Pre-orders will be opening. That's a big old caveat. April 24th, $449. So $450. That's what we're looking at. Everyone else, if you're interested in the Nintendo Switch 2, you know all of the specs already. I don't need to go over that. But at least we actually have a date. We had a date and then it kind of went away and now it's kind of back. I think hopefully I'll be on that email list who's able to pre-order one, but we'll see how crazy it gets. This is true supposedly for like all the major retailers like Best Buy as well. So something to keep in mind if you were wondering where this was all going to fall apart, because it did for a moment. It does kind of look like
my son's been asking me, so now I can tell him Thursday, right? Thursday? It would be Thursday.
24th.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The day after this goes live. Yes.
Fantastic.
So set your alarm. Midnight's coming.
All right. Well, Lee, close us out. What's going on with the music?
All right. So before we wrap up, I went and saw an amazing band that I absolutely adore. I've seen them many times. They're a Portland-based band called Pink Martini, but they are globally and nationally known. They are they're fantastic. I love being able to say I'm in the same city as them, and anytime they play here, we go see them. So we saw them at a really smaller, intimate venue, and they did such a great show. It was absolutely wonderful. At that show, I did pick up one of their albums that I did not own yet, called Hang On Little Tomato. It's by Pink Martini. It was released in 2004. It showcases the band's unique blend of jazz, Latin, classical, pop influences. Their sound is somewhere between nostalgic and original. Like,
that's true.
I love it. It's an amazing work that you can like listen to at dinner as background music, or coffee in the morning, or just in the background while you're working. If you're just sitting there listening to this podcast, as soon as the podcast is over, open up Spotify, go check them out. if you've never heard of them, what I really love about them, and this is why I think they're great for people who are working and like needing to focus, their music by and large is not in English. They cover all types of languages. This particular album includes French, Italian, Japanese, Croatian, Spanish, and English. It is a total musical journey. So that kind of allows the music to go to the background. So while you're thinking and writing, that's what I find it to be super helpful for. Yeah, it's just such a versatile and amazing group of people. And fun fact, one of the members is Ari Shapiro from NPR. Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes, that Ari Shapiro performed. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That's like, okay.
Yeah, and has
Well,
been.
Someone did not expect that one, but okay. That's so cool.
Yeah, Ari Shapiro is part of Pink Martini, does some cameos in this, definitely has a couple of songs. Fantastic performer, wonderful singer, incredibly dynamic and fun to watch on stage. So yeah, Hang On Little Tomato is the name of the album. It's a must listen. Check it out. That's what I'm listening to this week. How about you?
I'm not reading anything right now because my kids are on spring break.
Oh yeah, so
I'm like super hyper focused on the kiddos. So yeah, no book recommendations for me because I have no time this week.
Don't blame you. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Tech Magic, where we always invite you to come for the tech and stay for the magic. I'm Lee Kebler here with the incredible Cathy Hackl. Special thanks, as always, to Adweek for bringing this show to you. If you'd enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and let us know your thoughts. We'd love to connect with you. Just search for Tech Magic, Cathy Hackl, or me, Lee Kebler. You'll find us, and we'll be back next week.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bullspend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Business is booming, but you know what really helped? Xero, the accounting platform for small businesses. I used to think unpaid bills were just part of it. Ugh. But batch payments? Wow. Automated accounts payable? Even better. All in one place. That's a big one. And I can keep track from my phone while I get the job done. No bills in sight. What a life. Do right by yourself and your business and search XERO for your free trial. Conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.